Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. Today we are continuing the showcasing of all classes in MapleStory series with today the Magicians. A lot of you asked to rate or review the classes as well, so we're judging all Magician classes based on their mobility, grinding, bossing and difficulty to play. I'm comparing every mage class to the other mage classes, so it's more of an indication where their strengths and weaknesses lie. Feel free to leave your own rating of the class in the comments. We're starting off with the Explorer mages, and my first main all the way back pre-Big Bang, the Ice Lightning Mage. All mages are great at mobbing. The Ice Lightning Mage really makes this their speciality. Their Chain Lightning mobbing skill has a massive range, and with skills like Frozen Orb and their 5th job skill Ice Age, mobbing really is a piece of cake for this class. Their mobility is a bit better than the other Explorer mages as well, thanks to one of their passive hyper skills that increases their teleport range. This class can jump and teleport while falling, as long as there are other platforms to teleport to. Ice Lightning Mages also leave a stacking debuff on enemies when they hit them with ice-based attacks. Those stacks can be consumed when you hit monsters with lightning-based attacks to deal increased damage. They do bring some useful tools to boss fights as well, like a bind and a few party buffs like the Absolute Zero Aura that increases party's knockback resistance and elemental resistances, and the skill Meditation that increases the party's magic attack. Overall, a pretty solid class with decent mobility and an amazing grinder. Because their skill kit is a bit older, Ice Lightning Mages don't really rely on comboing their skills and are pretty chill to play. Next up is the Explorer Fire Poison Mage, the king of damage over time. This class kit is a bit different than most classes. They can release Poison Mist that deals damage over time and explode that mist for a good burst of damage. Using fire magic has a chance to create a wall of fire as well, dealing damage at certain intervals, and their final damage is increased depending on the amount of stacks of damage over time is activated on monsters. Fire Poison Mages train by using Paralyze, their Poison Mist skill and their low cooldown 5th job skills. Both the Fire Orb and Poison Orb skills that you will see me using every now and then can be used every 25 seconds. While their grinding isn't all too bad, it does require a bit more setup and moving around when you are using Paralyze. This skill doesn't have the greatest of ranges. Fire Poison Mages really excel at fighting monsters with a lot of HP, aka boss monsters. Thanks to their high damage single target skills like Medigo Flame and Flame Haze and their insane amount of damage over time stacks. This class will literally bring the heat and can melt any boss. Similar to the Ice Lightning Mage, this class is pretty easy to play. Fire Poison Mages can teleport in the air as well, as long as there's platforms to teleport to, but their range is a bit shorter because they don't have the teleport range increase passive hyper skill like Ice Lightning Mages do. The final Explorer Mage is the Explorer Bishop. This class is not really a bosser or a grinder, but it's a rare class that actually focuses more on supporting party members. Unfortunately for this class, there's no such thing as party grinding anymore, so their skills only really shine during boss fights. Bishop can increase the EXP gained by nearby party members, but only if those are really close. Bishops basically need to hug the character they're buffing with their Holy Symbol skill just to make sure the full effect stays applied. Hence, no one really trains with bishops anymore. They also have an interesting second job skill called Blessed Assemble, where all clerics in the party get increased EXP for every cleric in the party. So make sure to bring a cleric if you want to level your cleric just a bit faster. Their grinding is okay with their Big Bang and 5th job skills. They can transform their Angel Ray skill into a single target skill to deal at least some damage to bosses. They have the highest base crit rate out of all Explorer Mages, funny enough, but dealing damage isn't really their role in the game. Bishops can revive downed party members, recover HP, buff their party members with their Bless skill, they can remove status effects and cast a special buff that blocks attacks, so their usefulness in boss fights is pretty amazing. Hence I gave them an A for bossing, not for the damage but purely for the utility that they bring to the boss fight. Similar to Fire Poison Mages, they can teleport in the air if there are platforms available to teleport to, but they lack the range increase the Ice Lightning Mage has. Next up is a class that I mained for the longest time, the Resistance Magician, the Battle Mage. This is a very unique class with hands down the best teleport in the game. It can be cast anywhere, you don't need platforms to teleport to. Platforms are for older classes. Recently there was a small buff for this class so that when your yellow aura is used, your teleporting range is increased even more. Battle Mages are incredibly tanky. Their skills are more like that of warriors than magicians. They even have the stance skill. They have no magic guard, but instead just have an insane amount of HP and great defenses. Thanks to the passive effect of one of their auras, they're healing passively as well, so you never need to worry about HP potions. This class utilizes close combat attacks and auras. These auras have passive effects and active effects when used. They work for the entire party when they're activated, so this class can be quite supportive during boss fights as well. Their damage just isn't all that great though. This class needs to keep hitting bosses with their teleport as well to apply a Dark Shock debuff to deal additional damage. If you're finding a boss that moves around a lot or you are restricted in your movement, this class can really struggle to dish out the damage. That was actually one of the things that drove me away from this class, because I find bosses very difficult, and if I don't have any room to move around in, plus I constantly need to teleport to proc Dark Shock, it just didn't work out for me. But thanks to his auras and other skills, this class does offer more support than most other classes do. The grinding is a bit of work before 5th job, because you'll again need to keep proccing that Dark Shock by teleporting through monsters and then pop that by attacking. But after 5th job, you'll get a ton of summons and the aura side skill. Battle mages train by placing down their summons, and while those are active they, I don't know, make a cup of tea or something like that. And once those are on cooldown, you activate aura side, teleport through the map, destroying everything, and then you just repeat. Up next is a part of the Black Mage himself, the hero class Luminous. I know A++ isn't the real great, but this class is so good at grinding, he's basically kill stealing himself. Not many classes come close to the amount of lines on Luminous's attacks, and they all have so much range. His 5th job skills make his grinding even more amazing. Usually, Luminous players want to spam light reflection as much as possible. This skill has a crazy range and it's super easy to use. Just look left and right and spam it. Luminous does use a light and dark mechanic, so he cannot spam his light skills forever. Well, he can, but while you're in light mode, your lines double for your light attacks, and if you're in dark mode, your lines double for your dark attacks. Sadly, Nexon decided a couple of years ago to change Luminous's teleport. It is arguably the worst out of all mages. Only when he reaches equilibrium by balancing his light and dark mode, his teleport is somewhat decent, but that mode only lasts for less than 20 seconds. His bossing isn't too bad, but he does need to switch between light and dark mode, which does hinder his damage a little bit. He is a beast when equilibrium is active and he can spam his really powerful bossing attacks, but not that much when he's not. Overall, this class does feel a bit heavier to play as well than most mages, but it is so simple to play. Luminous is a good starting class, or a class for Maples who want to grind without having to actually do too much. Up next we have the Knight of Sickness, the OG 420 Blaze Wizard. Magicians do seem to have a team with orbs and balls, as you'll see throughout this video, and while we haven't talked about the Circus Magician class yet, this juggler is definitely part of the same gang. Their playstyle is very different compared to most mages. As a Blaze Wizard, you'll be spamming your Orbital Flame to deal most of your damage. You can change the direction of these balls as well, and it's a very unique way of grinding. Their mobbing did take a bit of a hit a couple of years ago. It used to be absolutely broken, now it's still pretty decent, albeit a bit more work compared to some of the other mages. This is also one of the few mages that has a flash jump, so they are a lot freer to move around than most mages who are stuck teleporting to platforms. I wouldn't say their bossing is anything special. Like most mage classes, this class really excels at grinding, but they can dish out quite a bit of damage though. This class does struggle with its MP consumption, so if you do plan on playing this class, make sure to bring a lot of MP potions. But I was mentioning that Circus earlier, so let's go over to that class, the Beast Tamer. Beast Tamer is one of the most unique classes in the whole game. With 4 different skill trees, there is a lot of flexibility when it comes to this class. They are a great supportive class when in cat mode, can fly and are extremely mobile in their hawk mode, and the leopard mode is super mobile and packs more of a punch as well. And then there is bear mode, which is mostly used for grinding and bossing. But I kinda messed up this Beast Tamer by going full cat mode to support my fiance when she was grinding. Cat mode has EXP increase buffs, HP increase buffs, all that good stuff that is passive as long as the Beast Tamer is in the same map as you, which is actually quite nice compared to bishops. But Beast Tamers cannot max all their skills and they can only use one animal at a time. Even when buffing in one animal and then switching to the other will remove those buffs. It does give some flexibility to switching modes for bossing and trading, but you cannot max all skills, so it's a bit more difficult to optimize for everything. Like, do you want to be a supportive class? Do you want to be a grinder? Do you want to be very mobile and like be a hurricane class? You have to pick one. You can't have everything, unfortunately. Because this class plays as 4 classes in one, it's more of a jack of all trades but master of none. Another animal companion class and the second hero magician class is Evan. Evan has a very unique playstyle that's all about comboing your magic attacks with your dragon attacks. His attacks are fast and most of them are elemental based. The Evan class is very flashy but also requires a lot more micromanagement. Evans can get buffs or debuff enemies depending on the fusion skills used between his own magic and his dragon's magic. However, those don't last very long. To activate those buffs and debuffs, Evan needs to recall his dragon, which stops the attack. For example, he commands his dragon to use an earth attack and then recalls him to gain an attack speed buff himself. Super important of course, but the buff only lasts for 1 minute. And there are a couple of other combinations that lower enemy defense or leave a burning trail on the ground. All super useful, but it does mean you'll be cycling through a lot of your skills. It's a playstyle not many Maples seem to like, but hey, you do get a cool dragon in return. Next up is a class so broken it should be illegal, the Sengoku Mage, Kanna. Kanna has a skill which increases the spawn rate of monsters in the map, meaning that this class can technically always grind faster than other classes because there simply are more monsters to defeat. But boy oh boy, this class can grind. Kanna can summon spirits that attack monsters, and she has multiple wide range attacks that have a relatively low cooldown. Kanna has a nice teleport with a lot of range. She can jump backwards and create mana veins on the ground that can be teleported to as well. But it isn't all grinding with this class. Kanna can also create multiple barriers, which are extremely useful in boss fights. She has 2 binds, and her 5th job skill Spirit's Domain doesn't only deal damage, it also recovers HP and increases final damage and resistances to your party. When it grows in size, all party members inside receive an attack speed buff as well. Overall, it feels like Kanna is a bit too good at everything. She even has passive healing that triggers each time an enemy is defeated. And she has a 30% chance to get additional EXP from monsters, and equipment she finds has a higher chance to drop with potential lines. I personally kinda like Kanna's playstyle, but there is just so much going on the screen that I find it hard to focus on anything. All her attacks are so explosive, they do look very nice though. Next up is Boy Wonder Kinesis. Kinesis doesn't use magic, instead he uses his 300 IQ brain to move around objects and throw around pebbles. He has a double jump and an up jump, so his mobility is no issue for this class. He can push and pull monsters, which leaves a debuff increasing Kinesis' damage. This class isn't really a party player and has no party buffs, but instead Kinesis debuffs enemies for his own benefits. His skills have quite a bit of range, making it easy for this class to grind, and his bossing ain't half bad either. He has 2 iframes, a bind and 100% knockback resistance, which seems to be quite rare among the magicians. This class doesn't rely on mana either, but instead on a different resource called Psychic Points, or PP for short. You'll need to manage this when training and fighting boss monsters to make sure that you can use all your skills all the time. Kinesis has a pretty unique look for his skills and he can throw around trains, so that's pretty fun. Let's just hope everyone's still working from home. And the final mage on this list is Illium. Illium was one of the more recent classes that I trained to level 200, and wow, this class is really strong early on. Illium's playstyle revolves around his balls. Yep, back to the ball classes. Illium's skills don't really target monsters, instead his attacks target his ball or crystal. So to train with this class, you'll have to reposition your crystal constantly, or you'll find a small map and you can just throw your crystal left and right. Illium has a teleport and he can fly for a short distance. Their attacks have quite a bit of range, but this is a high button per minute class, as Illium uses 2 types of main attacks, plus you have to reposition your crystal all the time. This class does not have magic guard, instead they have a crystal counter above their head that reduces their damage, and they have a gauge that can be charged as well. Once fully filled up, he can unleash his wings, gaining crazy mobility as he flies around the map, destroying everything in his way. This class is super powerful in this form, so grinding is no problem and he has plenty of damage to dish out. But since your attacks are directed towards your floating ball, it can be a bit more tough to fight boss monsters when the boss keeps moving around. But it doesn't end there. Illium also has an awesome skill that will give their entire party an iframe during boss fights, so he has his other uses as well besides just dealing damage. And that were all mage classes. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. As always, many thanks to our members for making this video possible. Thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanoy, FLX, Ryaiser, Terry Kim, Jiju, Vuries, Ryaiser Aryu, Driesumker, Plux, Wiley, Francisco Sousa, History Cannon, Backspace, OTI, CMAC, Safronix, Lonzo, BG Extremes, Anwar NHI, Brandon, Frank Bouquet, Ziggy Deer, Flidiot, Beamer WT, Knifesu, Chen125, Pinky Traveler, Cloudfix, Gus Roderiguez, Sir QQ Morse, Gummy Bones, Sir Tito655, Grayson Lee, Venetia, Brandon Cam, Vira, Bruno H, and Dular. If you would like to be mentioned here as well and get early access to new videos, make sure to check out that join button below this video. Thank you all so much for watching, stay safe and happy mapling!